From title runs and triumphs to close calls and coaching changes, 2024 has been a memorable one. Join me as I take a look back at the biggest local sports moments that we experienced over the last year. It feels like a blur, but the sports stories that have come out of this year left a big impact. Let's take a look at some. For high school sports, La Vega had quite the showing. The girls basketball team won the UIL state championship to be crowned back-to-back champs and celebrated with a parade. Pirates football made an appearance in the state championship after defeating Wimberley. Despite not getting the win, La Vega's season was one to remember. In volleyball, the Crawford Lady Pirates reached the mountaintop by beating Iola in the 4th edition of this rivalry to be crowned 2A state champions. And China Spring Tennis made history as Cougar Team Tennis reached the state tournament for the first time in program history. Our college teams also saw plenty of events unfold as Baylor basketball ushered in a new era with the opening of the Foster Pavilion. Since the doors open, the men's team is 14-2 at home and the women's team is 15-2. Baylor basketball also had a viral moment in the Scott Drew Kentucky saga. Social media was in a frenzy on if Scott Drew would be making the move to Kentucky. It reached a new height when a photo posted by Drew at a local restaurant, Mi Casita, brought in hundreds of calls from fans. The restaurant saw more customers entering their doors, and to capsule it, they named the table where Scott Drew sat Drew's Table. Aggie baseball made their way to the College World Series in Omaha for the 8th time in program history. An incredible season, but they would end up on the losing end to Tennessee in 3 games. As for football, Texas A&M saw new changes, and not just with the coaching staff led by Mike Elko, but we also saw an old rivalry brought back in the Aggies versus the Longhorns. It became the most sought-after ticket in college football history, as the Longhorns would end up coming away with the win. Speaking of wins, the Baylor Bears saw nothing but winning in the back half of the year. The most memorable win would result in a game-winning kick against TCU to help the Bears become bowl eligible and keep their momentum going into the end of the season. Baylor Nation would then storm the field as everyone knew the season had completely turned around. With everything that we got to see, who knows what 2025 is going to bring? But whatever does, we'll be there to cover it. Reporting in Waco, I'm Shaji Adam.